This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the week 8. Can you believe we're in week 8? NFL week recap, kickoff, all that good stuff. This is Prim and Proper Sports, and I'm your host, Sonia Pearson. I hope everyone has had an amazing day. This is October 22nd, 2025, and we are almost out of the entire month of October. The holidays are upon us. The weather is changing. It's beautiful out. Autumn is my favorite time of year. It's cooler. There's no pollen like in the spring, even though it's cooler there as well. But the spring can be hot, you guys. Speaking of hot, let's go ahead and get started with our show. Thank you so much for the likes, love, shares. Shout out to Brian Bistrilla Arndt, the production behind my theme song and all that good stuff. And of course, Pink Fan Fur, the realest real creator out there. Good evening to all of you. All right, so Jalen Hurts, you guys. Everybody's been kind of complaining a little bit about the Eagles. Well, hits perfection, guys, to stop the bleeding in Philly. A future Hall of Famer gets a chance to do something only 4 other quarterbacks have ever done. And the Saints and Dolphins, well, they're just trying to find a pulse after a disastrous Sunday. Coming up, we'll recap the biggest games from Sunday, break down the hottest news of the week, including the tush-push debate that is still ongoing, and get you set up for a huge slate of games that are coming up for week 8, headlined by, of course, none other than Aaron Rodgers, who continues to make himself relevant versus his past, y'all. All right, so let's get started. Winners and losers. Week 7 is what we're recapping here. The biggest story is the Eagles are looking like themselves for now. Now, Philly did snap their 2-game, believe it or not, 2-game losing streak in a must-win game versus the Vikings. None other than the Vikings without J.J. McCarthy, who you guys know is still out injured. I feel so bad for him. He gets signed last year. He doesn't get the playing time because of injuries. And then once again, this season, we're seeing a similar situation. I don't know if it's just there's a different conditioning style in the NFL as opposed to college or what, but we definitely hope he gets well soon. We've seen him on the sideline, so perhaps he'll be coming back soon. Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, it was all their show. It was all the Philly show. It was all the razzle-dazzle. Go figure. Hurts was flawless, having a perfect 158.3 passer rating, 326 yards, you guys, 3 tutties for the game. Smith looked uncoverable, like he was all over that field. And against the Vikings defense, they just could not keep up with him. He racked up 183 yards in reception and a score. So touchdown for him as well. The Eagles definitely needed this because Eagles fans out there, there were some rumblings amongst them. You know, it wasn't like, hey, we're world champs, anymore. It was like, wait a second. Are we going to be able to run this back a second year? Which y'all know that's hard to do anyway. But when Super Bowl champs come in, this is what they do. They definitely want to try to at least stay on top of everything and look, the part of they were the previous season. So a third straight loss for them would have caused panic for a lot of people. This next game I'm going to talk about versus the New Orleans Saints and the Chicago Bears. Chicago has looked unstoppable. I mean, I am very surprised. I'm going to be honest with you. The way they played Washington in week 6, and now the way that they have played the Saints. Um, the Bears are good. I mean, 26-14 over the Saints, who looked like they were going to come back in this game. And unfortunately, they did not. Spencer Rattler looking a little rattled out there, no pun intended. But he is a new quarterback. They are acclimating. They have a whole new system in place, including a new coach. So I don't want to say that the Saints are in a rebuild year because they've gotten the pieces in. I think they're just trying to get in where they fit in and get things going in a good rhythm there. The Bears have won their 4th straight game, guys. That's the thing. They are 4-2 after handling the Saints. The story for New Orleans in this game was turnovers. And this is why I'm talking about Spencer Rattler still looking a little rattled here and there because the turnovers were the difference maker. Because honestly, New Orleans could have come back in this game. He had a nightmare, to put it mildly, of a day. 4 different giveaways, and the Bears capitalized on them. 2 interceptions, 2 lost fumble recoveries. Chris Olave was the only bright spot for the Saints with 2 touchdowns. That was their score, 14. But at 1-6 now, New Orleans is in a complete free fall. So they are definitely at the bottom of the NFC South and looks like they may be there for the duration. All right, the Dolphins versus Browns game. Speaking of free falls and just being a little displaced, what in the world has happened to Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins? The Browns defense, y'all. The Browns. Okay. Anytime you say the Browns, it's almost like you got to take a pause and be like, wait a minute, what happened? Are you serious? It's one of those teams that you can't really get your hopes up for every single game. But when they perform, Browns fans are there for it, and they're there to celebrate in rare fashion, as they should. 31-6 over the Dolphins. The defense of the Browns absolutely dismantled them. Tua had one of the worst games of his career. 3 interceptions, guys. 2 lost fumbles as well. 5 turnovers for him. You just simply cannot win a game when you have that many turnovers. This is a massive statement win for Cleveland and a terrifying reality check for Miami. All right, let's look at how the Dallas Cowboys, coming off of that loss to the Carolina Panthers in week 6, they knew they had to bounce back, and against their NFC East rivals, they did just that. Doubled the points in that game. Their offense, Dallas's offense, looks like they did a couple of seasons ago with a healthy Dakota Rain Prescott. 44 points made them have a decisive divisional win over the Commanders. I mean, this was a game, guys. I don't know if it's because, divisional matchups, they step up. I mean, hey, look at what the Panthers did to the Falcons in week 3. It happens. Divisional matchups, it's like if you don't win anywhere else, you want to win in your division. And Dallas has done just that. 44 points is huge for that offense. Another game that was a cliffhanger was the Broncos and Giants game. Now, I told you guys last week they were going to be inducting Demaryius Thomas, the late Demaryius Thomas, into their Ring of Honor for the Broncos Hall of Fame. And congratulations to his family, Peyton Manning, and a lot of stars. And they were also honoring this being the 10th year of Super Bowl 50 for them. All of them were in attendance, and it was a very emotional halftime show there. But shout out to the Broncos, who literally edged out the Giants. And I do mean edged them out. last seconds, 33-32 in a very high scoring game. Um, it just was so big for them, and kudos to the Broncos for getting it done on such a memorable day. Another key game I'm definitely excited to talk about is the Carolina Panthers versus the New York Jets. Now, you guys can say what you want about the Jets. It doesn't matter. A dub is a dub. This is what I've been telling people all week long. A dub is a dub. And the Panthers got a win on the road. Everybody had talked about how we do not have wins on the road. We are now 4-3 and number two, only one game behind Tampa Bay for being at the top of the NFC South. First time in 6 seasons that the Panthers have had the record they had going into week number 8. So congratulations to my Panthers. Bryce throwing for 138 yards and a score as they won a very defensive slugfest in New York. I mean, that game was very, I like to say slow motion. It really, really was, guys. But they got it done. And now we are going to be facing the Bills here soon. I'll talk about that in just a moment. All right. A lot happened off field this week beyond the scores, but no story has been bigger than what's happening in Pittsburgh on Sunday night. Of course, I am talking about none other than Aaron Rodgers versus the Green Bay Packers. Now, I'm going to be honest. When you talk about Aaron Rodgers, I just kind of equate him with Packers for life. It's kind of like Brett Favre. I just have never wrapped my mind around him having left and gone to the Jets or what have you. But Aaron's back out there, this time as a Pittsburgh Steeler. And this is going to be his first time that he will actually play the team he spent 18 seasons with and won a Super Bowl for. Emotions are going to be very, very high. This is a historic game because history is on the line. If the Steelers win this game, Aaron Rodgers will become the fifth quarterback, you guys, in NFL history to have beaten all 32 current teams. That is big. That is really big. He would join an elite club of none other than Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre. I mean, what an elite cast of gentlemen quarterbacks who have gotten it done before him. This is a legacy. So, of course, Steelers fans are going to be rooting for him hard. Rodgers personal fans, no matter where he was, is going to be rooting for him hard. It's going to be really emotional for Green Bay fans because that's their former quarterback. Some of them have never gotten over the fact that he left, and now he needs to actually defeat them to get into this legacy of history. So that game will be a highly anticipated game on Sunday night, and you do not want to miss it. Of course, Sunday night is on NBC, and all the game highlights will be going on right before that. All right, now the next story I have for you guys is it's a veteran quarterback story making some noise. It's none other than 40-year-old Joe Flacco. Of course, Joe, he goes home, he waits on the calls, he comes back in. He's a Florida quarterback. This is not the first time we've seen Joe come back into the league and get it done. But now, Joe is the helm of the Bengals. Of course, with Joe Burrow being out injured, the Bengals calls up Joe Flacco. Of course, you guys will remember Joe was with Cleveland before that, and he's done a lot of noise making when he comes in, getting everything done. 40 years old, but not even playing like it, not looking like it, none of that. He looked incredible, you guys, in the Bengals game. Threw for 342 yards, 3 touchdowns, and count them, 0 interceptions, 0 picks on the game. He's the only player now, guys, in NFL history to have a 300-yard, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions for 4 different franchises. This guy is the consummate professional. So kudos to Joe getting it done again. Another surprise going to the next game here. Daniel Jones in Indianapolis. These Colts have been playing lights out. It looks like they are for real. Every week, non-Colts fans, that is, have been holding their breaths, still debating, are these Colts for real? Well, they look like they are. The Colts offense is on a record-breaking pace, guys. They have put up historic numbers for that franchise. They have started their season high, and nobody, and I do mean nobody, including myself and so many NFL pundits, saw this revival of sorts coming from the Indianapolis Colts. But Daniel Jones, the former quarterback for New York who was ousted, he looks impressive. He's leading one of the most statistically explosive offenses in the league right now. So congratulations to Daniel getting it done. Now, let's talk about some Pro Bowl switcheroos and the tush push once again. Now, guys, we talk about the tush push like I don't know, every couple of months or so. It's always something that comes up about that storyline. Couple of quick league updates about those. If you hate the tush push, guys, or the brotherly shove, as Philadelphia fans love to call it, because they're the city of brotherly love, bad news. NFL has confirmed, finalized it in the discussion. There is not going to be much discussion amongst owners banning it. You guys know they visited that this summer. They're like, you know what? Get over it, guys. Kind of like Eagles fans say, if you don't like it, stop it. Officials admit that it is very difficult to officiate those type of plays. The league is not going to move to even address it anymore. Like, they're done. They're like, okay, it's here to stay in the story. It's going to remain legal and highly effective play. So expect to see it in a lot of high stakes situations, especially with Philadelphia. I don't know too many other teams that really use that. I mean, it's the quarterback sneak, guys, but we literally see Eagles lifting and pushing their guys over the line of scrimmage. So there's that, or even for first down situations. So yeah, kudos to all you Eagles who wanted to make sure the tush push stayed here. It's here. All right. So the Pro Bowl, guys, they're moving that to the week of the Super Bowl now. The Pro Bowl games, the ratings have gone down over the years. I personally can't even tell you the last maybe 3 seasons of the Pro Bowl games. It turned into just a dressed up version of flag football, in my opinion. And I just was not interested in seeing that. Like, let's be clear, these are the guys who are definitely, worthy of the accolades of being Pro Bowl voted because of their stats during the regular season with their respective teams, but they didn't go to the Super Bowl. And let's be clear, a lot of them do make the playoffs. And so as they are eliminated from the playoffs, that's when they're available to play in the Pro Bowl. But of course, those teams who are continuously advancing towards the Super Bowl, they always decline the invite, and then they will move someone up from another team who was not necessarily in the run-ins for the playoffs to begin with. So I don't know if this is going to spark interest or pique interest or what have you with it going on the same specific week as the Super Bowl. I feel like it's one of these kind of events that's going to just be leading up to the Super Bowl. But for me, guys, I mean, they already have a lot of events around the Super Bowl, and this is kind of a plug and play, in my opinion, just to make sure, oh, let's get the Pro Bowls in. Let's squeeze them in while we got the fans involved. Hopefully they will get engaged and actually support the viewership of the Pro Bowl. So that's going to the week of the Super Bowl 2026, that is. All right, now let's get started with week 8. This is what you guys are here for. The week 8 matchups, of course, starting tomorrow night. Thursday night football will be the Vikings at the Chargers. This action is going to kick off, and you got Minnesota going all the way to LA to face the Chargers. Both of these teams desperately need to win this game to stay in playoff contentions. And the Chargers are at home, but the Vikings just played very tough and physical against the Eagles. So this is probably going to be a close game. I definitely am interested in seeing that. Of course, that's on Amazon Prime tomorrow night. And then let's start our Sunday games. The 1:00 matchups are always the biggest matchups of the day as far as the volume of games that are played. Shout out to YouTube, who has the multi-viewership option that you can watch all the games at one time, because if not, the older version of me, before all that came out, I'm setting up at least 2 TVs and having my laptop up for the third one. It's pretty wild. But huge slate of games on 1 o'clock slot. Dolphins at the Falcons. This is going to be on Fox. This is a get right must win game for the Miami Dolphins. Of course, the Falcons, from what I'm reading, are number 1 and number 2 respectively in offense and defense. Boo. But this game is in Atlanta. The Dolphins are looking to come back from all the brokenness that they've been showing over the last several weeks. Falcons are at home coming off this big win against the Bills. Go figure. Even though the Bills were kind of banged up, let's go ahead and applaud the Falcons. Congratulations for that win. This is at home. And so the fans are in rare fandom now. You guys know how Falcon fans do. If they're winning and folks are talking about them, they're showing up for the games. They're there. So expect Sunday to be a packed house, probably with Falcon fans, because they are really feeling themselves now. But if Tua starts turning that ball over like he did in week 6 and week 7 specifically, get ready for the Falcons defense and offense to have an absolute showdown at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Miami is going to be in real trouble. This feels like this is a must-win game, and it definitely is for Tua and those Fins. Bills at Panthers. Now, the Bills coming off of a loss to another NFC South rival of the Panthers, that being the Atlanta Falcons, are going to be traveling to Charlotte. So they left Atlanta and they're in Charlotte. They're probably already there rather than go all the way back up to Buffalo and come back. Guys, the Panthers are for real. Sadly, not taking anything away from Andy Dalton. Bryce Young is out this week with a high ankle sprain. Andy Dalton will be filling in for him. The Panthers are riding high, winning 4 in a row. They are undefeated at home, 3-0 at home, trying to make it 4-0. And if we win this game, and hopefully we do, we will be at the number 1 spot for the NFC South, tied with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a long time coming, and I definitely am excited about this game. This may be an upset alert for the Bills, who, like I told you, are already coming off of a loss, and they have a pretty banged up offense right now. And the Panthers defense has been playing lights out. I mean, thank you so much, NFL reporters, commenters, everybody that's had something to say about our defense since last spring. Thank you. It's clearly been the motivation we needed behind J.C. Horn and company to get it done. And let's not forget about our reignited offense behind T-Mac. I feel like I'm going to miss the name if I don't say, of course, you got Mr. Dowdle there that's getting it done. Even Xavier Legette falling in place here. Coker, lots of names here to get it done. Hubbard's going to be balancing here and there, but the offense is ready behind Andy Dalton to get it done. Be on upset alert for this game. Bills versus Panthers Sunday at 1 in Charlotte. Bills have been looking vulnerable. This could be a classic trap game for Buffalo on the road. Next game is going to be a big game, or will it be, guys? This is the Bears versus Ravens. This is not the same Ravens team that we have seen. Lamar Jackson has been out. The question is he going to be back now? Is he going to play? The surging 4-2 Bears against a 1-5 Ravens. That is what's unbelievable. They are 1-5 guys. This entire game literally hinges on whether or not Lamar run those plays. Mr. Jackson is going to be back. He's been out, and the Ravens are desperate at this point, awaiting for his return. If he plays, the Ravens will have a solid shot of winning this game. But if not, expect the Bears to go 5-2. All right, we got some 4 o'clock games that kick off as well. Buccaneers versus Saints. This is an NFC South matchup that always proves to go either way, despite whoever has the better record. Of course, a classic NFC South rivalry. The Saints are 1-6 and just look lost right now. Bucs are trying to keep pace in the division. This is a game that Tampa Bay should win, but division games, like I told you, are always weird. This game is in New Orleans, and it's always one of those things that the Saints usually are on upset alert. So in this game, I'm going to be rooting for the Saints because I need the Bucks to fall so the Panthers can rise either way so that we can take, ownership of the South where we should be. Another 4 o'clock important game is the Cowboys high flying offense, and they're going to be playing the Denver Broncos. Fresh off of those 44 points that we talked about. Tough Broncos team. They just won this big, mixed matchup, I should say. I don't even know. Big matchup against the New York Giants. This will test if Dallas' offense is really for real and if they can actually travel well. So that game is going to be on at 4. And then, of course, I told you guys about the Sunday night football game that we're all talking about, the big game, Packers and Steelers on NBC. This is the game of the week in the story. Like, if you don't watch any other game, you're definitely going to want to watch this game. It's not just Rodgers versus his old team. It's two historic franchises. Everybody knows it's Cowboys, Steelers, and Packers that are the older. Chicago's in there as well. The older teams, the historic teams that are in prime time. You have to have a Steelers defense against Jordan Love, though. That's the thing. The defense, if they fall apart, expect Green Bay to shine in spectacular form, because at the same time that people are wanting Aaron Rodgers to win this game because it's his old team and he goes up to, being one of the only 5 quarterbacks that has defeated all 32 other teams. They're going to be rallying around, showing them, hey, we don't need you. This is why we got rid of you. We got new and improved. We got Jordan Love, blah, 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 youth over, age, whatever. So Rodgers in this pressure is going to be very important. How does he handle the pressure? How does Green Bay's locker room respond to playing against their former leader? I think this may be the Steelers at home, guys, on upset alert, they're saying, because Rodgers is going to be so motivated that he does not want to lose this game. So expect a big game out of Rodgers. And a lot of big news, a lot of big stuff going on. I know this is an exciting time. It's week 8, halfway through the season already. And so these are the pivotal moments that we want to make sure that teams are showing up and show everybody what they're doing. And right now, my team, the Panthers, looks amazing. I'm happy. But keep a close out to some of those games I told you guys about being on upset alert. Before I close, I do want to take a moment to express condolences to the family, friends, colleagues, former teammates of Doug Martin. Of course, Doug played with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all the way up to 2016, retired for a bit, came back, played with the Oakland Raiders one season. Doug unfortunately passed away this week at the age of 36. And it is rumored he had a medical episode while in police custody. So that's the story that's coming out. I don't know too much. I've read some of what occurred. His family has come out via his agent and made a statement and said that unfortunately he was having a mental episode and they were trying to seek help for him. And when the police came, Doug ran from the scene, and there was another incident not too far away involving someone's home that was not Doug's home, and he was apprehended there. And shortly after the apprehension, he suffered a medical episode. So not getting into the logistics or the legal parts of what happened, just giving you guys some tidbits on what occurred and expressing condolences to Doug Martin's family, friends, Tampa Bay players, family, and the Oakland Raiders as well. All right, guys, that's it for the introduction of week 8 and the recap of week 7. I hope that you guys have an amazing week. Join me live on Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Friday Night Live with the fellas, where we'll be recapping tomorrow night's game and giving some introspect from other guys about Sunday's upcoming game. All right, you guys, be careful, be safe, and thank you for watching.